Look, I know what you're thinking. Another 7 Things video. Another finance YouTuber with a numbered list telling you what to avoid if you want to be rich. I'm as tired of making these as you are of watching them. But here's the thing. This list actually matters. Because these aren't the 7 things everyone talks about. Everyone tells you to stop buying coffee, to cancel Netflix, to budget harder, to meal prep on Sundays, and use coupons at the grocery store. These are the 7 psychological traps that keep you broke even when you're making decent money. Even when you're doing everything the personal finance books tell you to do. And I'm gonna bet you're currently stuck in at least 3 of them right now. Most people think being broke is about not earning enough. That if they just got that promotion or that raise or that new job, everything would change. But I've watched people go from $40,000 a year to $120,000 a year and still be living paycheck to paycheck. Same stress, same anxiety, different salary. The traps aren't about the money coming in. They're about the decisions you make before the money even shows up. The mental frameworks that lock you into patterns you can't see until someone points them out. So let's start with the first one. The first thing to avoid is staying in your comfort zone. Everyone knows what a comfort zone is, right? It's that safe space where everything feels familiar and predictable. But here's what that actually means in real life. Your comfort zone is like a thermostat stuck at 68 degrees. Not cold enough to force you to move, not hot enough to make you uncomfortable. Just fine. Perpetually fine. And fine is the most dangerous temperature there is. Let me show you what this looks like over time. Most people at 25 have a comfort zone that includes their first real job. Let's say $55,000 at some corporation. Entry-level marketing or operations or whatever. The salary feels pretty good. Your parents are proud. Your friends think you're doing well. At 30, you're still at the same company. Maybe you got promoted once. Senior coordinator or associate manager or some title that sounds better than it pays. $68,000 now. Still fine. Still comfortable. The thermostat hasn't moved. At 35, you're a manager. $82,000. Decent benefits. 4 weeks vacation. You're objectively doing well compared to a lot of people. But here's what nobody tells you. You've been at the same company for 10 years. You have 0 equity. Your salary growth has been 3 to 4% annually. Just enough to keep up with inflation. Just enough to keep you comfortable. At 45, you're senior management, maybe $110,000. Nice title. Nice office, and you suddenly realize you've spent 20 years climbing a ladder that doesn't actually go anywhere. No equity, no ownership, no wealth. Just salary, just comfort. I did this. Spent 5 years at the same company because switching felt risky. Because learning new systems felt uncomfortable. Because the known mediocrity felt safer than the unknown possibility. That thermostat cost me probably $200,000 in opportunities I didn't take because they would have required turning up the heat. Here's the math nobody shows you. The safe path gives you predictable 3 to 4% annual raises. Over 30 years, that's comfortable poverty. The uncomfortable path, the one where you switch companies, negotiate equity, take calculated risks, that's where the actual wealth multiplies. But you have to be willing to mess with the thermostat. The second thing to avoid is playing the blame game. This is the mental trap that keeps you stuck even when you know the comfort zone is limiting you. And everyone plays it, including me. Especially me for the first 10 years of my career. Let me give you 2 objects to think about. A referee whistle and game tape. In life, you're constantly choosing between these 2. The referee whistle is easy. Something goes wrong, you blow the whistle. Blame the refs. Blame the other team. Blame the rules. Blame the field conditions. It's never your fault. There's always an external reason why you lost. Game tape is harder. You sit down, watch yourself play, and count your own mistakes. The passes you missed, the shots you didn't take, the defensive gaps you left open. It's uncomfortable, but it's the only way you actually improve. I used to be a world-class whistleblower. Failed a project, the timeline was unrealistic, didn't get promoted, my boss didn't like me, broke the economy is rigged against young people. Late to work, traffic was terrible, even though I left 10 minutes later than I should have. And here's the dangerous part about blame. It starts small. You blame traffic once, then you blame it every time. Then you're blaming your alarm clock for not being loud enough. Then you're blaming your roommate for being too noisy. Then you're blaming the entire system for making you need a job in the first place. Small excuses become medium excuses, become life-defining excuses. Before you know it, you're 40 years old, explaining to yourself why nothing is your fault and why you couldn't possibly have done anything differently. The referee whistle feels good in the moment. It protects your ego. But game tape is what builds wealth, because you can't fix what you won't acknowledge. You can't change what you refuse to own. You can't control the economy. You can't control your boss. You can't control the system, but you can control whether you watch the game tape or blow the whistle. The third thing to avoid is being ego-driven. Arrogant people already scrolled past this section. They already know everything, so why would they need to watch? That's exactly the problem. Let me explain this with a simple idea. You have two things in front of you: a map and the territory. The map shows you what someone else learned about the terrain, the roads, the shortcuts, the dead ends, the dangerous areas. The territory is the actual ground you have to walk. Ego makes you throw away the map, because you're smart enough to figure it out yourself, right? You don't need someone else's notes. You don't need advice from people who've already walked this path. You'll just figure it out as you go. Here's what that looks like in practice. Someone tells you to learn sales skills. You think sales is beneath you. You're a technical person, a creative person, an ideas person. Sales is for people who aren't smart enough to do real work. So you skip it. 5 years later, you're brilliant at your craft and broke, because you can't sell your services. You can't negotiate your salary. You can't close clients. And the person who took that sales advice, they're making 3 times what you make with half your talent. That's ego tax. It's expensive. I watched someone turn down a mentor because they didn't want to look like they needed help. Turn down free advice from someone who'd already built and sold 2 companies. Why? Because asking for help felt like admitting weakness. 3 years later, they're still trying to figure out the basics that could have been explained in a single conversation. Arrogance costs you every opportunity you're too smart to notice. Humility makes you wealthy because you're willing to learn from anyone who knows more than you, even if they're younger, even if they're in a different industry, even if accepting their advice makes you feel like you should have known it already. The map exists. Your ego is the only thing stopping you from using it. The fourth thing to avoid is buying a fake luxury lifestyle. Let me describe someone you've definitely seen on Instagram. 28 years old, entrepreneur in the bio, posted outside a G-Wagon. Black on black, murdered out, looks incredible. That G-Wagon leased, $1,800 a month. He barely qualified. Put down the minimum, stretched the terms to 72 months because the monthly payment was the only number that mattered. Last week he was in Miami, business class. Looked amazing in the airport lounge photo. That flight, financed on a credit card offering 12 months interest-free. He'll be making payments until August. The watch in his wrist shots, Rolex Submariner. 42mm, gorgeous piece. Bought it from a grey market dealer with a payment plan. $400 a month for 18 months. So technically, he owns it. Technically. The caption under every post says some variation of entrepreneur, freedom, living your best life, building an empire. The reality, he's selling a course on Amazon FBA that he barely runs himself. Makes maybe $6,000 a month, on a good month, $4,000 on average. That lifestyle costs him $4,000 a month minimum, before rent, before food, before anything else. This isn't wealth. This is performance art. And here's the part that'll make you angry. Most surveys show somewhere around 40% of Americans have literally nothing saved for retirement. Nothing. And about half can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money or putting it on credit. I know those numbers sound extreme. They sound too high to be real. But think about the people you actually know. How many of them could handle their car breaking down tomorrow without panicking? How many are one medical bill away from being completely underwater? Social media makes it look like everyone's building wealth except you. But the reality, most people are one emergency away from debt. They're just better at hiding it than you are at faking success. You know, what actually builds wealth? The boring stuff nobody posts about. Buying a used Toyota instead of leasing a G-Wagon. That's $1,400 a month you can invest. Over 10 years, at 8% annual returns, that's $250,000. Flying economy and investing the difference. That's $600 per trip. 4 trips a year for 10 years invested. $36,000 becomes $52,000. The Rolex payment invested instead. $400 monthly for 10 years, $73,000. The math is simple. Depreciating assets make you look rich. Appreciating assets make you actually rich. You can't do both at the same time. Choose one. The fifth thing to avoid is working for only money. Most people work for salary. That's it. They trade time for money, get a paycheck, repeat. That's the treadmill. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere. The ladder is different. The ladder is working for skills and equity. Let me show you what this looks like. Someone starts in customer service at a software company. $38,000 a year answering support tickets about password resets. Not glamorous. Their friends in consulting are making $60,000 right out of college. It feels like they're falling behind. But here's what happens. After 18 months, their boss offers them a shot at sales. Lower base salary, $42,000, but commission structure. Everyone tells them they're crazy to take a pay cut. Their parents don't understand. Their friends think they're desperate, but they're not taking a job for money. They're taking it for the skill, sales, negotiation, client relationships, how to actually close deals, how to handle objections, how to read people, skills that are worth way more than that initial $4,000 pay cut. 3 years later, they've learned those skills. They're good at it now. Really good. They're making $75,000 with commission. Better than where they started. But here's the part nobody tells you. Once you have valuable skills, you have leverage. Real leverage. They go back to their boss and say they want equity in the deals they close. A small percentage. 1% of annual contract value for enterprise clients they bring in. Their boss thinks about it. Realizes they're bringing in $2 million annually in new business. Says yes. Same company. Same building. Different compensation structure. Now they're making $115,000 base plus $20,000 in equity distributions from contracts they closed 2 years ago that are still paying out. 10 years on, the salary treadmill at 3% annual raises. You make $760,000 total. 10 years on the ownership ladder with equity. You make $1.2 million plus equity stakes that keep paying. That's the difference between working for money and working for ownership. The treadmill keeps you comfortable. The ladder builds wealth, skills and equity, not just salary. That's the path. The sixth thing to avoid is having too many inputs, too many opinions, too many experts telling you different things. Ask 10 people how to lose weight and you'll get 10 different answers. Keto, carnivore, vegan, intermittent fasting, if it fits your macros, paleo, Mediterranean. Each person swears their way is the only way that works. Each person has studies to back it up. Each person thinks everyone else is wrong. Same thing with money. Same thing with career advice. Same thing with business strategy. One expert says, you need to start a side hustle. Another says, focus on your career and climb the corporate ladder. Another says, quit your job and go all in on entrepreneurship. Another says real estate is the only real wealth. Another says crypto. Another says index funds. Another says individual stocks if you're smart enough. And every single one of them sounds convincing when you're listening to them. This is called cognitive overload. Your brain literally cannot process that many conflicting paths. So what happens? Decision paralysis. You don't pick any path. You just keep consuming content. Keep watching videos, keep reading books, keep listening to podcasts, and never actually doing anything. I've watched people spend 2 years learning about 7 different business models and never starting a single one, because they couldn't decide which expert to listen to, which path was really the right one. What if they picked wrong? Here's the solution. Pick one expert, one path. Give it 90 days of actual focused effort. Not half effort while you're still researching 3 other options. Actual commitment. If it doesn't work after 90 days of real implementation, fine. Switch. Pick a different expert. Try a different path. But you need to close all the other tabs. Unsubscribe from everyone else. Ignore every other opinion. Quality over quantity. One clear voice over 10 conflicting ones. Decision paralysis kills more dreams than bad decisions ever will. The 7th thing to avoid is doing everything yourself. This is the solo mission mentality. The belief that you can outwork and outsmart everyone by yourself. You can't. No matter how talented you are, you will never outcompete a team of talented people working together. Let me show you what network effects actually look like. 3 roommates at University of Texas in 2015. Average students. No trust funds. No special connections. Just 3 people who stayed friends after graduation. Roommate A joins a small software company as employee number 12. Equity stake 0.5%. Not much, but it's something. Company's growing. Needs a developer. He brings in roommate C, 0.3% equity. 2 years later, the company's doing well. They need someone to handle enterprise sales. Roommate A recommends roommate B, 0.4% equity. Now, all three are in. 3 more years pass. Company gets acquired. Not $1 billion exit. Not even $100 million. $12 million acquisition. Small, by Silicon Valley standards. But here's the math. Roommate A makes $60,000 from his 0.5%. Roommate C makes $36,000. Roommate B makes $48,000. Total between the three of them, $144,000. Not life-changing money individually, but combined with their salaries over those 5 years, they all walked away with real savings, real equity experience, real network. Now they're angel investing in each other's next projects. Roommate B started a consulting company. Roommate A invested $15,000. Company's worth $300,000 now. Roommate A's stake is worth $45,000. Roommate C is building a SaaS product. Roommates A and B are both advisors with small equity positions. If it exits, they all win again. One person working alone has one outcome. 3 people working together have 9 potential outcomes. 9 chances to win. 9 opportunities compounding off each other. Your network isn't just who you know. It's your net worth multiplier. Solo Mission has a ceiling. Network has exponential growth. So here's where we are. 7 traps. 7 ways most people stay broke even when they're making decent money. Comfort zone. Blame game. Ego. Fake luxury. Working for salary only. Too many inputs. Solo mission. These aren't easy to fix. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that watching one video changes everything. That you can just decide tomorrow to expand your comfort zone and suddenly you're wealthy. That doesn't happen. But here's what I need you to understand. Most people stay stuck not because they're lazy or stupid or unlucky. They stay stuck because they're trapped in patterns they can't see. The thermostat's stuck at 68 degrees. The referee whistle they keep blowing. The map they refuse to read. You can't fix all 7 of these overnight, but you can pick one. Just one. The one that resonated most while you were watching this. And you can start watching the game tape instead of blowing the whistle. You can turn up the thermostat 5 degrees. You can ask for equity instead of just accepting salary. Small changes compound. One trap fixed leads to another, then another. Your future self is counting on the decision you make right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Which trap are you going to fix first?